What's up there, Internet? I'm Troy to the Max Extreme.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
And together, we're IMPERIUS REX. This episode, we're sitting here at the beach, drinking some summer shandies, and we're going to be discussing the hero of the beach himself, Flex Mentallo.
Oh my god, what a great way to kick off the first week of summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta tell you, Troy, is there anything as relaxing as just sitting here, lazing on the beach, forgetting all your troubles?
Oh, nothing bad.
Oh, God!
Whoa!
Hey!
Oh!
Hey!
Tony Dungy'd that.
Oh.
That's a football guy.
What?
Hey, we're trying to film here. What's your problem?
Shut up, String Bean. You're small.
What? I obviously am not.
Oh! It's always someone like this. Worst nuisance on the beach.
Yeah, total jerk, right?
Right.
Hey, did you say something, you impossibly skinny piece of shit?
What?
I'd punch your face. You might blow away. Gosh, what a skinny, insignificant, puny bitch.
That big bully, I'll get even with him someday.
Don't let it bother you, little boy.
Oh, had enough of this being picked on. I'm gonna bury myself in this comic book. Feel better about myself. Take me away, Grant. Oh, say, there's Troy. If you want to do some real damage to that bully, why don't you do a little bit of hash? Why don't you drink a little bit of that in that bottle? Do a little bit of experimenting. Expand your consciousness. Become cosmically aware, Troy. Do what Flex would do. Piss pound this sucker. That's it, Morrison.
Hey there. Where's your skinny boyfriend, boobs?
What? You're here again? I think I owe you a little something.
My, oh my.
Why, you?
What a build he's famous for. Oh, Troy, you are a real man after all.
I don't need you anymore, you tramp.
Oh, Troy, you brute.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yes, we got real meta there because we're talking about our good friend Flex Mentallo.
Yeah, that's right.
And Grant Morrison, of course.
Of course.
This is our first Grant Morrison episode of the year.
Is it really?
Yeah, been slacking.
That legit surprised me.
I know. I was gonna save it for a little bit later because we might have another one coming up, but I just couldn't resist diving into Flex Mentallo. Seemed like the perfect way to kick off the summer.
That's right. IMPERIUS Flex.
IMPERIUS Flex.
That's it.
That's right. Flex Mentallo, created by Grant Morrison with artwork by Richard Case. And this was in 1990, way back when, in his Doom Patrol run. Not the Flex Mentallo that we see before us. He actually originated earlier than that. He then went on to star in his own series, which we see here, self-titled Vertigo series from, I think, 96, with art by the always amazing Frank Quitely.
Yes.
So, Troy, what's up with Flex?
Well, that's a good question, Dave.
He has a weird legal history.
Yeah, he does. Well, if anyone doesn't know already, the whole thing that you've just previously seen is a spoof off the Charles Atlas ad.
Yep.
And, like, I guess the legit origin of Flex Mentallo.
Yeah. Yep.
So, way back when, like, 50s, 60s or whatever, there was, like, these ads in the back of comics of, like, get buff with Charles Atlas or whatever. And it had this whole strip in there. So the ad is this little scrawny kid, gets made fun of on the beach for being this little puny morsel of a man. And so he decides to go home. He sees this ad for Charles Atlas. He beefs up. He comes home or comes back to the beach rather and beats up that bully.
And pounds his face in.
And gets the girl.
That's right.
Yeah.
No one's kicking sand in his face anymore. Thanks to Charles Atlas.
Yeah. And so that was that legal thing that you mentioned before. Charles Atlas didn't like that maybe so much. Maybe infringing on his intellectual property.
That's right.
And so they filed a lawsuit against DC Comics.
Yep.
Which DC eventually won.
That's right. Because it fell into the Fair Use Parody Act.
Yeah.
But it held up Flex Mentallo rights for years. Like, you couldn't get this book for a while. It was out of print, and I think his Doom Patrol issues were out of print as well. But I want to say in 2012 or so, it finally fell through, and then they reprinted this beauty here. So the world could once again enjoy their Flex Mentallo.
A man of muscle mystery.
Oh boy, was he ever. So, Troy, what's Flex Mentallo about?
Well, that's good question, Dave.
Good question.
And I'm not really quite sure how to explain it, because it is very existential, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you get to the end. And even then, you're trying to piece it all together. But if you do know a little bit about Grant Morrison's history, which we do...
I think it's a book that is not as weird as you initially think it is by the time you get to the end.
Yeah.
I think it seems way crazier, and then by the time it wraps up, it is pretty much a straightforward story.
Yeah.
It just has so many weird offshoots.
Yeah.
It's, I feel like it's a book of vignettes, kind of. Like, it seems every couple pages it jumps to another storyline or some other weird thing that's happening, and you're like, how does this tie in with anything?
I kept saying that the whole time, like, I don't remember this or this or this or this.
The basic gist of this is Flex Mentallo, man of muscle mystery, is investigating a series of, I guess, like, fake bombs, which are being dropped around the city by this trench-coated character dubbed The Fact. And both Flex and The Fact are characters from an old comic strip, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. They were partners, right? Doesn't he mention
so.
that he's partners with them at some point?
Yeah. And they were created by a kid named Wally Sage. And they've somehow escaped their four-color comic book reality into what we assume is our world. And Wally has grown into an adult who's now like a rock star. With a drug problem.
Bit of an addict.
Yep.
Yeah.
His girlfriend left him, and he's basically on his way out. He's calling someone on the phone who we don't know who he's talking to, and he's basically saying he's committing suicide, he took a bunch of pills, and he's just kind of going through his life before he dies.
Yeah. And a lot of what he's going through, and who's on that weird car phone with, like, makes not a whole lot of sense, because it seems like it's the ramblings of, like, just a guy completely out of his gourd.
Yep. And a lot of them, I think, are stories from Grant's own childhood, too, where he talked about being terrified of the bomb as a kid, but he was able to find comfort in the fact that the bomb started as an idea, and ideas are stronger than reality, I guess.
Yeah.
So as it goes on, Flex is investigating these weird fake bombs. He kind of teams up with a police chief. And meanwhile all this is happening, it seems like the world itself is just going to shit. Like, it's almost like an end of days type scenario where it's like reality's crumbling away. He doesn't focus a lot on this, but there's like news reports and stuff saying that, like, the world's in pieces. So you wonder, what is going on?
Right.
What is going on, Troy?
I don't know anymore, Dave.
It's been a wild morning. Flex Mentallo is very much a comic about comics.
Yeah.
So Flex stems from the golden age of comics, and as it goes on, it gets more into the crazy, trippy, possibly drug-induced science fiction reality of the Silver Age, before bottoming out in the third issue in the gritty Dark Ages, or the Bronze Age of comics.
Right.
Which was probably the 80s
90s.
Frank Miller, Watchmen-inspired, realistic superheroes. And Morrison has been quite vocal that that's not his favorite time period of comics, because they kind of do away with all the wonder and awe and heroics that, you know, he feels that comics should instill in the reader.
Heroes should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And makes them like, oh no, the heroes could be anybody. They're all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's very apparent when it gets to like the third issue. Like you can see like, all the heroes now is just like in this big weird psychedelic orgy type of thing.
Yeah. He basically goes to what's it called? It's like a superhero sex club.
Yeah. In the sewers.
Yes. Where it is. It's just a full-on orgy of superpowered people. And his him and Quatley's creation of all of these unique original heroes is insane.
Yeah,
like, there are so many different characters and origins and plot lines that he comes up with that feel right at home in whatever era that this is referring to. So Flex, he knows something's wrong with the world. He knows it's not this great, wonderful place that it once was.
Right.
And he's trying to solve, what is this big mystery? Why is everything going to hell?
Right.
Meanwhile, Wally Sage is, you know, just on his last leg.
Spewing out whatever inconsistent, like, thoughts he has.
Yeah, just garbage.
Yeah.
But interesting garbage.
Yeah.
A lot about him being so into comics as a kid. And he almost kind of blames them for him not maturing, I guess, would you say?
Maybe not 100%, but yeah, he does bring up, like, at one point doesn't know what is real. Like, is the comic real or is this real life? And, like, I think the art does a good job of that, too, because there's a few points where he goes outside and quietly, like, draws everything in, like, a weird kind of
fishbowl
fish
perspective.
bubble, like I'm like, that's really cool. And it's like, you don't really notice it a lot, but, like, everything is kind of warped. And you're like, I don't know really what is real or what is not.
No, I have no idea. By the end of this, it's all like realities within realities.
Yeah.
Which we'll keep going here. We're gonna plow through to the end. As he continues on this journey, we discover that there were superheroes.
Yes.
They lived in their own universe, doing superhero things, and there was this great like cataclysm called the Absolute.
Yeah.
This evil, all-encompassing
Yeah.
thing that was destroying their reality. And the only way that the heroes could survive was to create their own reality.
Yeah.
And transport themselves into the thoughts of the people living in that reality.
Right.
As their own reality was eaten by the Absolute.
Yeah. And so, and then this new reality, the consciousness of everybody will recreate these characters and they'll live on through stories and ideas. So
yeah.
they
and
never
eventually
really die.
physical form.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then you see that with, like, Flex and...
the Fact.
The Fact, yeah.
Yeah, but our reality, I think, is essentially this superhero-made reality.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I got from it.
All right. All right. Good. When you say it out loud, it seems so simple. But yeah, that, I mean, you have no idea that's the case until the fourth issue.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, well, that's not a terribly convoluted story. It's just the way he told it.
Right.
In little slices and intermixed with his own kind of backstory in the form of Wally Sage.
Right.
I mean, that's nothing new for Morrison. He's done this many times, especially in Invisibles.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would be as memorable a story if it was just presented cut and dry like that.
Oh, no.
Because that story, it's cool, but it's not mind-blowing. And I think the way he tells his story with all these little side characters and everything is what makes this memorable. Especially calling back to some of these, like, Golden and Silver Age characters.
Yeah.
Like the villains that Flex fights throughout the series are great.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it anymore in the book, but he's always thinking back to like, oh, these great battles we had. We used to have such adventures. By the end, once they figure out that the heroes were real, they still have one pseudo-villain that they have to confront, and that is like a teenage Wally Sage, essentially, who is kind of stuck in that dark ages of comics where he thinks superheroes are like uncool.
Right.
And he's blaming them for like not being able to really progress into a mature adult. And I love the climax where Flex basically just kind of like sits him down and like gives him just a good inspirational talking to.
Right.
The Wally Sage is yelling at him and he's like, "Look at you, a half-naked muscle man in trunks. What's that supposed to signify? What are you? Do you know what you are?" And Flex says, "Sure, I'm a superhero. Being clever is a fine thing, but sometimes a boy just needs to get out of the house and meet some girls. Gamble a stamp. I'll show you how to be a real man." As he's like reaching his hand out. It's just great.
Yeah.
It's just pure like almost Superman, all-star Superman level like heroics.
From a bygone era that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's like every morning has like a steak and a milk for breakfast.
Yep.
Or something.
Yep. I'll show you how to be a real man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it. He sums it up really well when he says, "Only a bitter little adolescent boy could confuse realism with pessimism," which I think is a good way of kind of shrugging off, like, everything has to be dark and gritty. It's like, the real world can be realistic, but it doesn't have to be, like, depressing.
Right.
You know, it can still be...
happiness everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Flex signifies through this.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It really is. I don't think this story is necessarily for everybody.
You would never give this to a first-time comic reader.
Because they would put them off comics forever.
Yeah, they'd be like, this is what comics is?
This is what you read?
Yeah.
Freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
But I would recommend at least giving it a shot. It's a quick read. Granted, like, it's a lot of heavy ideas wrapped up in it, and once you get to the end, it kind of all bleeds together, and there's still, like, parts where I'm like, well, I didn't necessarily care for that, but I like the story overall.
It has so much to say in 4 issues.
Yeah.
You have to give it credit for that. Even if, like, not everything sticks with you, like, it does so much.
I think if it was any longer, though, it wouldn't be as good. It'd be like, this went on too long. Like, I needed this to be over.
And it really made me want to, like, I did a little research for this episode, especially the original Flex Mentallo appearance, made me really want to go back and read Doom Patrol that we have there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh man, I think a lot of the characters in this first appeared in Doom Patrol. Okay. Like Wally Sage and the Faker and all these guys, or the Hoaxer. I think they're all from that. So sometime we'll do Doom Patrol sometime here. That's gonna be a big endeavor.
And it's the biggest omnibus ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, because his powers are so like indiscriminate. Like, you have no idea what they are. He just flexes and good things happen.
Exactly.
It's like, that's amazing.
Yep.
Going away from that a little bit, Frank Quitely's art is really good in this.
It might be his best.
It's really up there. Like, All-Star Superman is really good, and this is really good. But, like, if you look at something more recently that he's done, that story with Mark Miller, Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah.
Like, it's still good, but you can see that it's kind of sketchier a little bit. Yeah,
I would say his X-Men run and his All-Star Superman, he uses a ton of negative space.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think he does as much. I think this is jam-packed.
It's full of detail in every single panel.
Yeah. I mean, we just got done talking about Frank Darrow.
Yeah.
There's moments where it felt
Jeff
a little...
Darrow.
Or, Frank Miller, Jeff Darrow. Frank Darrow.
Yeah.
But there are moments where it almost brought to mind that, too, and some of these packed, like, superhero orgies and all that. But, yeah, I mean, he's a revelation in this.
Right.
And if you're a fan of anything Morrison or Quietly have done, you owe it to yourself to read this. Even if it takes a couple reads to really sink in and enjoy or get any enjoyment out of it. But I love it. It's just so bizarre. You know, it's unlike anything else.
Right.
Other than other Grant Morrison stuff. It's very much like that. But yeah, there you have it.
There you have
Flex Mentallo. Probably one of the few Flex Mentallo videos on the internet. And I guarantee the only Flex Mentallo where they're wearing
The actual trunks.
The actual trunks.
And the boots! But, there you have it. So, have you read Flex Mentallo? What are your thoughts on Grant Morrison? Have you read all of Doom Patrol? Can you add in to the conversation down below? We would love to know.
Should it be up next on our reading list next year? Not
this year.
We've got
God, no.
No, we've got the slate booked. So we're taking applications for 2019 right now.
But that's it. That's pretty much the show for this week. So until next time, I've been Short of the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we'll see you this summer.
Big things are coming your way.
That's right. This has been Imperius Flex. Oh! We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This one's bigger.